Team Solo
What is
Mid,
this?
better known as TSM, were one of the first powerhouse League of Legends organizations, the titans of the early LCS that stayed a consistent force well into franchising. TSM became a name that was so well known, their iconic team chant became a staple across esports even when they weren't playing.
You can hear TSM. The TSM.
Love them or hate them, TSM were the reason so many people got hooked on competitive League, and in 2016, after back-to-back splits of losing to bitter rivals CLG in the finals, TSM entered the summer split on a mission to finally put their name back at the top of the table. And they meant business. In spring, they created a super team by acquiring Doublelift, the greatest player in LCS history, to pair up with Bjergsen, the other greatest player in LCS history. But it wasn't good enough. TSM's experiment with European support legend Yellowstar has not gone to plan, and the team is in panic mode after losing to the same CLG they just took Doublelift from.
And Yellowstar was a fraud in 2016. Maybe in 2015 he was good at Fnatic. I know he was like known as the shot caller, but in 2016 he was a big fraud. Like just from playing against him in solo queue and stuff, this guy had no hands anymore.
If TSM are going to reclaim their former glory, they're going to need to make a change. But the move they make catches everyone off guard. To me, these 5 players will always be dubbed the Boys of Summer. This may very well be the most dominant LCS team that's ever existed, and they run caps off in a fashion you literally couldn't have scripted any better. And it turns out the greatest team in LCS history also ends up being responsible for its single greatest moment.
Doublelift turns around the fight, staying alive, so much patience, bides his time, and he takes over!
2015 was a disappointing year for TSM. They started things off by dominating C9 in the spring finals, but things started to head downhill at MSI where they didn't make it out of groups. In summer, they got 3-0'd by CLG in the finals, and then at the World Championship they went 1-5, finishing last in their group. After being eliminated from Worlds, longtime top laner and fan favorite Dyrus announced his retirement, and TSM completely blew up their roster, leaving only their franchise player in mid lane, Bjergsen. Now on the surface, this reaction might seem a bit extreme. If you're a normal NA team, going first, second, and making both international tournaments would be a great year, not to mention their admittedly fraudulent IEM World Championship win.
But this isn't a normal team. Entering the LCS's 7th split, TSM has made every single...
And the main thing was that this team was just so like AFK at this point. It was Bjergsen and 4 wards. Like no one was doing anything anymore in the games. So that's why they ended up blowing up the rosters. It's like, yeah, Bjergsen is just having... This is Bjergsen's prime as well. This is when Bjergsen is like unironically a top 5 mid laner in the entire world, and he's just playing in North America for like no reason.
Final and won 3 of them.
Like, people that didn't watch this, they'll think that that's like an exaggeration or something. No, like Bjergsen would just go international and he would just clap like the best LCK and LPL mids. Like he like just completely lane gap them. This is when lane gap was also more evident. So if you actually go back and you watch like what he was doing to like let's see, like Worlds 2015. I think he was also the second most popular player in the world after Faker at this point. Maybe Uzi was more popular. It's hard to know with China, at least in terms of everyone outside of China. Like China numbers are never released, so it's very hard to know. But it's like if you remember him playing against, for example, players like Nagne, like he was significantly better. Like this is when the best mid laners were like Nagne, like Kuro was there, but he was just like starting. He wasn't super good in lane either. You had like Goong, like these types of players.
Finals are the expectation, the bare minimum. This is their home. In our last video, we mentioned that in order to understand CLG's story, you have to understand who they are, and the same thing applies to their rivals, TSM. TSM are the most quintessentially American team in the LCS. What do I mean by this? Well, here in America, we have...
Bro, like, look at these lane gaps, bro. This is like one of the best Korean mid laners at the time, Nagne. And Bjergsen is just up 35 CS in lane and just solo kills him like this. I mean, obviously, like, this is like a fucking horrible play from Nagne. Don't get me wrong. It's a fucking terrible play. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's just like a bot. But yeah, I mean, Bjergsen was so much better than these types of guys back then.
We have to be the best at everything we do. Politics, war, culture, technology. We have to win it all, or at least uphold the perception that we're winning. And sports are no exception. Oh, we're not the best at football? F it. We'll just make our own sport only we play and also call it football. World champions, baby. Still not winning? Just elect a guy that always says we're winning. TSM, if nothing else, are a team that wins.
People aren't gonna like that one.
That's pretty much their whole identity at this point.
It is true that like Trump has taught me how OP lying really is. Like it's really OP to lie, man. It's so fucking OP. Anyways, I really like you guys. I like this community. I like streaming and spending my time with you guys.
point, and to their credit, it's been working out pretty well so
enjoyable,
far.
for
The
sure.
thing is,
It
if your
doesn't give me
team makes
cancer on the
every
daily.
final, not only is that monumental pressure for your players, but it begs the real question, what's next? TSM's, let's just say, controversial founder Reginald has made that very clear over the years.
So what for you counts as a success in these series?
I think that, if you don't win, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 3-2. It doesn't matter if you're 3-1. If you don't win, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're not expected to win, but our ultimate goal is always to win worlds.
I mean, this was pretty based by Reginald, It's like, our goal is to win worlds, and then when they realized they couldn't win worlds, they actually just disbanded the organization and just f***ed off. Like, all right, bro, I can see it.
I want to win worlds. We didn't move in to make friends. We moved in to win season 2. We moved in to take first.
TSM's mission has always been to be the best League of Legends team in the world.
Just winning NA will not cut it.
I mean,
for
Reggie is pretty much the Trump of League of Legends, if you really think about it.
TSM. They strive to be the first North American team to win a world championship. And while that may seem a bit silly today, the early days of LoL esports were a different time. 2 years ago, in 2014, TSM had made it out of groups and taken a game off world champs Samsung White. Not making it out of groups the next year? Unacceptable. TSM just went backwards, and TSM is not in the business of going backwards. To put things in even more American terms, at this point in LCS history, TSM are the New York Yankees. Both teams have a long tradition of success. Both teams are the most popular and globally recognizable American teams in their respective sport, making it to places they were never meant to be, whether that's Yankees caps in China or TSM chants at the World Finals. Because of this success and popularity, both teams have lots of money and choose to spend it primarily on buying the best players from around the globe rather than developing talent from within. Playing for one of these teams holds a certain level of prestige and can make you a celebrity overnight. Both teams have rabid fan bases that expect
People don't understand how popular TSM was. Like, if you joined TSM and started streaming, like Santorin had like 4,000 followers on Twitter. He joined TSM and he was one of my boys, so I got to see his growth. And I think he got up to like 150K or something crazy like this, and he instantly went from averaging like 100 viewers to literally averaging like 15,000 viewers to 20,000 viewers every single day just by being on TSM.
a championship win every year, and if you can't deliver it to them quickly enough, you won't stick around for very long. And of course, both teams have a simple white text-based logo containing overlapping letters on a dark background. I never thought about it before writing this video, but it almost looks intentional. You'd be hard-pressed to find a fan that's neutral on these teams because whether they're good or bad, they're always in the spotlight. You either love seeing them win or you love seeing them lose. There's no in-between. All this to say, the level of pressure TSM players are under to be successful cannot be overstated. 2016 will finally be TSM's year to make a deep run at Worlds. They guarantee it. So without further ado, let's meet the dream team that's going to take them to the promised land.
Heading into 2016, there was a lot of hype for this TSM roster. The face of CLG defecting to their arch rivals, the two most popular players in the league teaming up, Doublelift throwing his CLG jersey in the trash. This team was going to be a ratings machine even without the other players. While the Bjergsen and Doublelift partnership would go on to become the most iconic in LCS history, back in spring 2016, not everyone was sure it was going to work out. Super teams are always risky. How would the two biggest stars in the league fit together? Would they be able to set ego aside and share resources? With all the rumors flying around about why Doublelift was kicked from CLG and his general reputation for toxicity around this time, I wouldn't blame you for doubting it.
That's kind of how it works nowadays, but back then, macro was so bad that you just everyone just got resources kind of. Everyone who was capable on a team could just push side lanes and push mid lane. You really wouldn't need to make sacrifices and all right, this guy's gonna catch the bad waves and then he's gonna sacrifice his wave to group on certain certain timers or whatever. It used to just be if you were good enough at the game, you would probably end up getting your farm in.
Let's meet the rest of the supporting cast, shall we? Kevin Hortzy-Yarnell was originally the youngest member of the team. After a breakout rookie season on Gravity, getting picked up by TSM was a break almost as big as the shoes he had to fill by becoming Darius' successor in the top lane. Meanwhile, in the jungle, TSM decided they needed another Danish player whose name starts with an S and ends with an N, picking up SK Gaming star jungler Sven Skaren, who had been a standout carry player in the earlier seasons of the then EU LCS, but had fallen on hard times after a poor 2015 summer led to SK being relegated by some unknown team called Gamers 2. He'd actually played with his fellow countryman Bjergsen before back on NIP in Europe, and Bjerg must have wanted to play with him pretty badly, because TSM had to win a bidding war with H2K for his services that ended in Svenskeren breaking a verbal agreement to join the squad. With Doublelift leaving CLG,
that Svenskeren was like undefeated, bro. This guy was crazy.
he left behind Aframu, the best support in the league. So with no domestic upgrades available, TSM did the next best thing and grabbed the best support in Europe, Yellowstar. Fresh off the LEC's first and only undefeated regular season where he won the MVP award, followed by a trip to World's semi-finals, this move looked like an absolute slam dunk, which makes it all the more confusing when he completely flops. Now, a lot has been said about the disappearance of Yellowstar over the years, but it's too long of a story for us to get into now. All you need to know is that we did not get this.
I mean, he was always pretty bad mechanically, to be fair. Like, not always, but like season 5, he was already. I mean, he has one of the most famous Thresh misplays of all time. So, yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be like the shot calling genius, which was something that TSM looked for multiple times, by the way. This is something that they did with Yellowstar. Then when they brought in Mithy, they really wanted like to support shot calling genius. That was something that they just thought was like the archetype. They thought that was the key to winning worlds. So they brought in Yellowstar, they brought in Mithy, they brought in Sword Art. It was all the same vein of player where they're like, okay, maybe the mechanics are whatever, but the shot calling is what's gonna like bring us over the edge. And they really thought that a support shot caller would do that. Smoothie was the same archetype as well. This is something they really care about.
Yellowstar. We got this Yellowstar.
Doing a lot of pinging onto that position. There's a flash and the hook. Wow. A flash and nothing really from Yellowstar.
Things get hectic here at the Esports Garage, and that's why I'm excited to tell you about the
That was the best
sponsor of this
support in Europe
video,
at the time.
Factor. Factor lets you eat stress-free with their delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every meal is fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. More than enough time to make sure you're eating good
Factor
between
meals
solo
fucking
queue
good,
games
bro.
or watching our videos.
I have them in my
You
fridge
can
right
choose
now. I
from a
might eat
vast
one after
weekly
this.
menu of 35 options.
Hey,
cover
I
a
don't even have a sponsor right now, but bro, these can bang.
huge variety of dietary needs, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Veggie and Vegan. At the Garage, we love how flexible Factor is, and it makes staying fed in and out of game something we don't even have to think about. Factor's flexibility means you can change your order options every week with plans for 4 to 18 meals a week, as well as the ability to pause or reschedule your meals at any time. Unlike the infamous Darius microwave incident, there's no concern about you messing up here. Just easy, flexible meals sent straight to your door at your convenience. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code 50esportsgarage to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50esportsgarage at factor75.com.
At least for the first box,
get 50%
it's like
off
mega
plus free
value.
shipping on your first box. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring this video.
Yellowstar Spring was not good, as TSM barely squeaked into the playoffs at 9-9. Even with the dead weight of Yellowstar dragging them down by the ankles, TSM makes a
Dead
breakthrough
weight
in
of
playoffs, knocking
Yellowstar
off both
dragging them
C9
down by the ankles. Oh my god, they flamed the out of my boy. He's not really my boy at all. I don't care about him one bit, but
Start dragging them down by the
Jesus.
ankles, TSM makes a breakthrough in playoffs, knocking off both C9 and tournament favorites Immortals, setting up a rematch with their rivals CLG in the final. Now, TSM does not win this series. We spoiled that in both the intro and the last video, but it's important to note just how they lose. While his replacement Stixay takes the game into his own hands and flashes forward to make a play, Doublelift hesitates and chooses not to fight. Instead, he plays it safe, sits back, and dies off screen. There's just not really that much he can do. Heartbreak aside, it's honestly kind of impressive that TSM got so close to winning despite all their struggles. That being said, this is not okay for TSM. Not only did they just achieve their worst ever regular season finish despite spending more money than they ever had before, but they just lost to CLG, and they are not allowed to lose to CLG. TSM know they
Immortals tournament favorite XD, brother, they were 17-1 going into playoffs. The team that was 17-1 that completely dominated everyone was the favorite. That's not ridiculous to say at all. I don't know why people are acting like this is like a ridiculous statement.
need to make a change at support, but with a
They opened the season 12-0. They were playing with Huni and Rainover, who had just came from top 4 at Worlds, and they completely were running the entire league.
free agency pool between spring and summer, that's easier said than done. While CLG makes their historic run to MSI finals, TSM are in the lab, flying to Korea for a boot camp to hold support tryouts. The decision ultimately comes down to 3 players: Ignar, at the time a relatively unknown substitute for KT Rolster, current EU LCS champion Hybrid, yeah, remember that guy, and a 19-year-old Canadian fresh off the solo queue ladder named Biofrost.
Are you ready to hang out with Vincent Wang and Powerhouse?
Biofrost was definitely a rookie, rough around the edges and unfamiliar with how the competitive game worked, but by the end of the boot camp, TSM thought he had better mechanics than Hybrid, and while Ignar impressed, he had trouble communicating his ideas with the team, so the job went to Vincent. Now remember earlier when we said that playing for TSM was a lot of pressure for any player, even a veteran, to handle? Well, imagine being Biofrost right now. Not only are you making your pro debut for TSM, always a daunting prospect, but you're paired with Doublelift, the best ADC in the LCS, who has been supported over the years by legends like Chowster, Afromu, and Yellowstar. And if a player like Yellowstar can't do it, how the hell could you? You're the new guy, standing in the shadows of giants, paired with a great player who has a reputation for being a difficult teammate. And somehow you're supposed to be the guy that's gonna fix this roster. Oh, and by the way, you've only got one split to do
The thing
it.
is, like, really good laning AD carries like Doublelift don't really care too much about, like, generally the case is they don't really care too much about, like, oh, their support has really good macro or, like, does really well in reviews. They just want somebody who's gonna be really good in lane and just get them fed in the game. Like, somebody who's just gonna help them stomp lane. So you just want the best mechanical support you can find.
They picked you for your potential, and you're going to need to realize it fast, or there will be problems. Something Doublelift didn't shy away from pointing out on TSM Legends.
With Bio, he has his strengths, like he's a really mechanically gifted player. He actually just plays, his gameplay wise, he's really good. The only problem is he's really inexperienced, you know, like you can take a great player and if you put him on stage, he might have, you know, a panic attack or he might have really bad anxiety and just be extremely nervous.
Now, we point this all out because if you're Doublelift here, you're at a crossroads. You just got kicked from CLG and went to their arch rivals with a promise to run the league, but that didn't happen. If things don't work out this summer and the super team blows up, where does your career go next? Probably nowhere good. Doublelift was kicked because no matter how good he was on the Rift, his conduct off of it, particularly conduct directed towards the less experienced members of his team, was so bad that it wasn't worth keeping him even after he delivered the team their first LCS title. And if he ends up being the face of TSM's downfall the very next year, well, you've just burned bridges at the two biggest teams in the league. Sneaky is pretty much untouchable on C9, so you'd have to go to another team which at this moment in LCS history is not a recipe for winning. But the reason so many fans love Doublelift despite his history is not a recipe.
I feel like this wasn't even the case, though. Like, Immortals was a team that felt like they should win. And then if you think about, like, the other teams, I mean, this was, like, this TL was the Dardoch TL. I mean, I feel like it's more that Piglet was untouchable at the time in TL than you want to be on the Dardoch TL. Like, this team sucks. Like, I could see this team doing well with, like, Doublelift, Dardoch, Phoenix at the time because those guys were so mechanically gifted compared to everyone else.
For winning. But the reason so many fans love Doublelift despite his flaws is because his story is deeply and profoundly human. We've watched him go from an awkward 18-year-old crashing on Travis Gafford's couch to a hotshot trash talker to the league's premier AD carry.
A hotshot trash talker. All right, I get it. Hotshot GG is on sale. Okay, all right, I get it.
We've seen him change over the years and grown up with him. With the benefit of hindsight, we know Doublelift went on to become the undisputed GOAT of the LCS, but that didn't feel like a certainty for many years, and it sure didn't happen overnight.
Bjergsen's still my GOAT.
Wasn't always perfect.
Throwing that out there, Bjergsen is still the GOAT of the LCS for me.
Or even good. Can anyone watching this video right now really say they never squandered a great opportunity when they were younger because they were kind of an asshole? I know I can't. But just like the rest of us, his experience and mistakes over time turned him into the person he is today. And this split maybe...
You know what? I'm not going to make... Hey, yes it did. That's all. Yes it did.
More than any other, wound up shaping the rest of Doublelift's career. So in the face of adversity, will Doublelift step up and become a leader on this team and the mental Biofrost needs to blossom? Or will he fall back to his old patterns and destroy this team from the inside out? The clock is ticking. With Worlds right around the corner, TSM's bid to take over in the summer of 2016 needs to start with a statement. And boy do they make one.
Defenders taken, Dixie now actually tethered up. Good flash from Biofrost, gets very aggressive, and Doublelift moves in and Bjergsen gets one.
I love playing with Vincent. Yeah, Vincent! Oh my god.
What?
Imagine just being Yellowstar, bro. Yellowstar's watching this shit. He's like, God damn, they hated me, didn't they?
TSM doing trying to defend this. Horns are getting low, but they might be able to find it out. Doublelift gets one. Can he make it two? Hooney. Now the next target they're calling is down. That is the double in there. Doublelift gonna go crazy. The 1v3 solo gets himself the triple.
I guess that's what they're doing.
Rain over the slows. There's a lot of them. TSM, I think they found a catch. Rain over. Very tanky over. Powerhouse are looking to blow people up. Yerkson with another kill. 7 fade onto 2. Hooney diving back in. But the damage is massive. TSM.
Me save for me.
Yes! And it fucking
That's fucking good. Doublelift now in a bit of trouble. Hyper's gonna proc impact. We'll keep chasing in. Bounce.
That was the worst dap of all time. We have to rewatch it.
That's fucking good. Doublelift now in a bit
It's
of
just
trouble.
all wrist, bro.
Hyper's gonna proc impact.
He gets him on the wrist.
We'll keep chasing in. Bounces on his head. Doublelift.
I should have known. I thought this team was the best NA team that had ever existed at this point. I thought they were going to do really well at Worlds, like semifinals at minimum. But I should have known that there's no way that DAP was going to be top 4.
And Impact gonna chase him down. One.
I just missed it back then.
Now they're gonna stun him up. They get out of the turret and Impact.
Hooney goes down. Now it's going to be on a Wild Turtle. They try to get in. He flashes forward. That's going to be the hit. Wild Turtle's getting the ricochets now.
Fuck you, Doublelift. This is not your penta.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Shit, it is.
Doublelift breaks up the penta down.
Take the kill. Give me the kill. Yes. One more. Dive.
Hey, they're about to get back up. Here we go. What's this in? Look at Mark. Oh, he gets it. 1,000 kills.
all right, I love you guys.
TSM have created a monster. After an abysmal spring of 2016, this new look TSM rips through the league, dropping only a single series along the way and matching Immortal's spring record at 17-1. Comically, their single series loss is to bottom of the barrel Phoenix 1, whose surprise Rengar pick and sheer force of memes managed to stop an otherwise undefeated TSM from outdoing IMT and stop Dyrus from keeping his hair.
Oh yeah.
Now it's important to note that this split is a very unique one in LCS history. This whole year in fact is basically split into two very distinct halves that, depending on your point of view, might make their regular season run more or less impressive than Immortals in spring. You see, summer 2016 is the first ever time the LCS regular season has been entirely best of 3s. Fun fact, it's also my first season of the LCS. So while both teams had the same 17-1 overall record, TSM actually wound up dropping 6 individual games. On the one hand, playing 18 single games straight and only losing one of them is very impressive, but winning that many series when you have to play at least twice as many games per opponent is no small feat either. Some may argue that the win percentage in best of 3 is simply worse than best of 1, and I'll buy that. Some might also point to best of 3s giving teams more leeway for mistakes, which might make TSM's record a bit less impressive too. I think in both cases, Immortals and TSM forever cemented themselves in LCS history, and even though they got there in different formats, it's still a monumental achievement.
Semantics aside, you can't deny that TSM had a historic season. They started 14-0 in matches, the best mark in LCS history. They had insane objective control, securing 70% of Barons and 77% of Dragons in their games. They were almost never behind, posting the third lowest major deficit percentage of all time at just 8.1%. And they had the fastest average game time in the league at just over 33 minutes. Bjergsen won MVP as usual, and Biofrost won Rookie of the Split, finishing with a KDA of 8.2, the highest in the league and good for the 10th highest KDA across a split in LCS history, the second best for a support. And first team All-Pro consisted of 4 TSM players and Reignover. Now, I just read you a bunch of stats, and they're very impressive, but as I was sitting here writing this part of the video, it felt a bit hollow, and I realized what really made this team special wasn't all the numbers, but the cultural impact they had on North American League fans.
Is that a sausage? Literally, it's somebody's like partially eaten sausage.
This team was effortlessly good on the
That was content back then, bro. Bro, times were easier back then. Now to make content, you gotta like start your own team and shit. Like auxiliary content. Bro, back then, it's like, bro, is that you just go into the wilderness as a gamer and that was enough? You know? Just go into public as a gamer, have a camera following you. This shit would get like 500,000 views on YouTube.
And just as charismatic and entertaining off of it. Now, we've said a million times in this video that TSM was the most popular team, but I don't think fans today understand just how huge they were, how week in, week out, hundreds of thousands of people from all around the world were passionately invested in this team's success. And there's no better way to show that than by taking a look at their YouTube channel. In the year 2016, TSM published 57 videos on their YouTube channel that were directly related to their league team. Those videos averaged 428,000 views.
Average, bro. Average. They have like sponsor videos in there as well, I'm pretty sure.
In perspective, Kadril, the largest English-speaking content creator in League of Legends today, averaged just 334,000 views on his last 57 videos as of the day we wrote this video.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. They were so insanely popular.
34,000 views on his last 57 videos as of the day we wrote this video. Anyway,
I mean, to be fair, like there was just so many more views back then. Like I wonder what I averaged back then just as an individual content creator. I'll actually go look it up.
Just to say that this roster really embodies the LCS golden age at its best. A time when the league first filled stadiums and orgs were turning into real businesses, but before franchising and promises that were too big to keep. The scene still had much of the authenticity that made fans fall in love with it back in the early days, and most pros still streamed regularly. It was back when a simple video of the team playing Pictionary, going to the arcade, or a solo queue montage could easily rake in over 500,000 views.
Easily.
But they also had the budget to make premium content like TSM Legends. Scrolling back through these videos, even I'm getting nostalgic for this team, and back in the day, I was a huge C9 fan, a card-carrying TSM hater. But nowadays, I look back on this time and this roster very fondly. We didn't know how good we had it. It was the summer of 2016. Times were good, the future of LoL esports seemed limitless, and this TSM roster, the Boys of Summer, represented that potential. But the regular season is over now. It's the middle of August, and while it's still hot outside, you notice it's getting dark just a little earlier every day. Summer is slowly but surely on its way out. Maybe you're about to head back to school or unpacking your things after a beach trip with your friends before work on Monday. Fall, and by extension the World Championship, is just around the corner. You can almost smell it. But there's still a lot of work to do before you get there. With so many games to play, TSM have been on a grind this summer. They're entering the playoffs as far and away the best team in the league, but they've been playing and practicing more than any LCS team before them ever had. The question is, will a team that's burning this hot and playing...
Bro, look at how popular League was back then, bro. Look at how popular League was. Like, I wasn't even the big... Like, I was maybe the 10th biggest solo queue streamer YouTuber or something. Maybe even lower than that. Maybe like 20th. I have no idea. But I wasn't even close to being the biggest. And then this was just like, in this period, I just did a 3-month period from January 2nd to April 1st. And like, yeah, 20 million views at this point. 20 million views in that amount of time. Like, this is like just the biggest videos I had. I mean, I was averaging at least 300,000 views. I think, well, average, right? I was averaging at least 300,000 views. Yeah, in that period, these were the videos I released. So there was one video that flopped, and then all the other videos were like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy, bro. Shit was insane back then. Shit was mega insane.
Playing this much, both in and out of official matches, fizzle out before they can get across the finish line.
Mind you, this isn't just a question people are positing because they're TSM haters, there's recent precedent for this as well. Immortals went 17-1 just last split and collapsed in playoffs, performing a self-Uno reverse so epic that it'll have to be its own video one day. So there's recent reasons to be concerned about TSM this playoffs, especially with a rookie on this team who has looked excellent so far but might well be in danger of mental booming in best of fives if the pressure gets to him. Well, you can stop holding your breath now, TSM fans, because the postseason starts going the exact same way. TSM get a bye into the semifinals thanks to their first place finish and exact swift revenge on defending champion CLG, sending them to the Shadow Realm in a 3-0 shutout. Immortals somewhat hilariously fall apart again, this time barely losing to Cloud9 and peak Top Die Impact in a nail-biter that goes the distance. With CLG out of the way, dispatched handily by this brutally efficient TSM lineup, the boys in black...
Well, to be fair, like, my numbers don't look that much different now, but it's because of YouTube Shorts, so it's mega fake. So if I look at, like, my YouTube stuff now, number one, I have a Shorts editor too, so, but, like, this is, like, fake views that are bringing it up. I mean, YouTube Shorts are just way too popular. Like, so none of my videos have even probably hit 1,000, like 100K. Yeah, just look at the shorts. So the only one was Doonby Lee Sin mid that almost hit 100K. Like, I guess I had one short that just popped off that got almost 1.3 million. But for the most part, it's like, it's pretty, it's way more dead.
Black are once again facing off against Cloud9 for a championship.
And Cloud9 have had an interesting ride through the season as well.
1.2 million on shorts. I didn't know you're getting views. I had no clue I was getting views like that either, bro. I never saw that short, but I have a guy that does it now. That's really good. So he just knows the algorithm and stuff.
Now, legendary coach and former Korean pro Rivera is joined.
If you go to everyone, bro, like no one gets views on YouTube anymore. Like even if you consider like Kadril, who's the big, like, okay, so Kadril averaging 35 to like 40,000 viewers a stream. That's the equivalent of like being one of the biggest YouTubers that averages like if you compare that to YouTube at the time, people that were 35 to 40K, like Night Blue 3, Cutie, they would get 2 million views a video back then. So like YouTube League was booming, and then it's fucking dead now.
In Cloud9 for the first time.
Bro, is that Reaper? Oh my God.
Now legendary coach and former Korean pro Reaper has joined Cloud9.
Damn, Reaper. Holy shit. I'm posting it in the group chat. Holy.
For the first time, and they spent a part of their season swapping between supports as well, deciding between future LCS All-Pro Smoothie and future content creator Bunny Fufu. Since settling on Smoothie though, C9 have been looking good, finishing the season in a respectable 3rd place. While TSM and IMT have been in a class of their own all split, Cloud9 are looking like an absolute buzzsaw. Having already dispatched Immortals, they're looking scary, riding the momentum of what may go down as peak impact. TSM versus CLG may be the most storied rivalry in the LCS, but TSM versus C9 has always been its most competitive. While CLG has been tripping over themselves until very recently, C9 and TSM were locked in an intense battle for top dog in the LCS.
Damn, high.
Since C9 joined in the summer of 2013, the teams have met in finals 4 times, and the score is split 2 trophies to 2. So as the teams descend upon Toronto to an uproarious Canadian crowd, their multi-year best of 5 for control of North American esports is about to come to a thrilling conclusion.
As we hit Champion Select for Game 1, we need to talk a little bit about the meta. 2016 was one of the slowest metas in the game's history, and when 2 good teams go head to head, the struggle could literally take hours. The 2016 World Finals between SKT and Samsung averaged 50 minutes and 31 seconds across 5 games, which makes TSM's 33-minute average game.
Holy bro, Zoomer Brain could never watch that nowadays. Now the game's like, bro, if there's like no action for 20 minutes in a game, people in my chat just perma-complain. The f*** is this bullshit? These fucking pussies never fight. None of them would survive back in these days. Dude, the hardest part about being a League Pro back then was not falling asleep during game. It used to be a endurance test. I played an 80-minute game, bro. I reviewed that 80-minute game. People don't know about the struggle.
Time from the summer split looked like
this is back when you were an athlete. If you were a player, you know how people said esport athlete. This was when you were an athlete.
Light speed in comparison. This team was at their best when they played fast, but the meta just didn't favor it. At this point in the season, a typical comp consisted of a tank or bruiser in the top lane, a tank or fighter in the jungle, a scaling mage mid, something safe at support, an enchanter like Karma, a warden like Braum, or something weird like Bard, all tied together with a long-range utility ADC. Specifically, the overpowered trio of Sivir, Jhin, and Ashe.
Wait, are we back in LCK? Oh, not yet. Soon.
By the end of summer playoffs, they'd crowded out pretty much every other pick. 16 playoff games heading into finals means 32 possible total AD carries played. Of that number, 30 of them were Sivir, Jhin, or Ashe, with just 1 Caitlyn game and 1 Ezreal game tacked on as an afterthought. This means that Doublelift has played a total of 5 unique AD carries this entire summer, and that's with the league playing best of 3s for the first time ever. It's not that Doublelift had a shallow champ pool for what it's worth, the AD meta was just that boring. His opponent Sneaky, long regarded as one of the most flexible ADCs in the West, managed, drumroll please, 6 unique champions. That being said, this meta definitely favors Sneaky. He loves his utility AD carries, and in particular, he's regarded as the best Jhin in North America. He can play the hard carry champs, but he's perfectly happy in utility world. While Doublelift is still the best ADC in the
Sneaky W
league, even on utility picks, it's no secret that this isn't his favorite meta. His most played champ in the regular season is Lucian, a pick extremely lacking in both range and utility, but with pop-off potential you just can't get out of a Jhin or Sivir. Doublelift's elite Lucian play is part of what made TSM the fastest team in the LCS, but in the playoffs TSM seems to have finally accepted the meta and slowed down their play, dropping the Lucian pick entirely. C9 notices this and bans out Sivir and forces TSM to pick away the Jhin from Sneaky, leaving Sneaky to pick Ashe, a trade he's perfectly happy with.
Wait, there used to not be 4 or 5 bans. I forgot about this. It used to just be 3 bans, that was it.
But draft is just draft. TSM have been the team to beat all split long, so Lechu shows up on the final stage.
It's time to start. Let's go into game 1.
And fights are happening.
Baton Hawks in a bad spot, but also a nice fight in the bot lane. The pillar catches Bioprouse, who doesn't have a way out and just dies. Doesn't even pop the gray health, and now Doublelift's in danger.
Sneaky and lane lull.
He's gonna go down. A double kill for Sneaky.
C9 2v2 outplay in the bot lane. They don't get 1, they get 2.
The flash into Devour. Biofrost keeps him safe for now. Bjergsen exhausted, running away for dear life, but Sven still burns down the poison.
Beautiful
Just
pillar.
too much for him. Pillar to buy a bit of time. Huge knockups, and here comes the backline access. C9 have already picked up 1, but how many more can they really get? The snipe comes through. Meteos takes him out. It's a 5 versus 2. The solo's trying to keep it up. Bjergsen burning down. He's gonna lose his life.
That's it!
As they go, and game 1 goes to Cloud9.
We're good, dude. We had a fucking bad game. Everyone has a bad game.
You're doing great, man. Be confident. You're doing good.
Despite their tough start, TSM get back to their old selves in Game 2, banishing the early series jitters as they comfortably start chain diving side lanes and grabbing solo kills in mid lane. As the team gets back to the business they
Bro, how do you solo kill Cassio versus Vel'Koz? Is that possible?
started the split with, winning. With the series tied up, Game 3 sees Meteos going back to Old Faithful in Zac. He and Svenskeren end up spending the early game trading successful ganks before C9 makes some big errors in the mid game and allow TSM a foothold back into the game. Even with Impact's heroics, it seems as though Cloud9's search for a 3rd trophy is gonna have to wait another split as TSM finish off Game 3 like a solid pizza chain, delivering a win in less than 30 minutes. With the series now hanging in the balance, TSM change up their in less than...
He was Cassio? He could just pick Cassio every single game into Vel'Koz, and it just was good? Damn. Crazy.
30 minutes. With the series now hanging in the balance, TSM change up their draft strategy slightly and give Doublelift last pick, finally allowing Sneaky onto his pocket pick Jhin. TSM are giving Doublelift the ball and putting the game on his shoulders. So, for the 22nd time this season, he locks in his number 1, Lucian.
Lane shove to get pressure elsewhere, but if they can get one back right here, Doublelift.
Meteos. Meteos flash knock. If they're gonna trigger the stun as well. Is it enough damage? Yes, it is. Sneaky crucially gets the kill.
They see Gragas. That means they might try the dive.
Here comes the attempt. There's the jump on in. A lot of knockups. And here comes the Hanser ulti. One more shot won't quite get the kill. And now Meteos is in danger. Can he get out? No, he didn't have the tunnel. Here comes Doublelift going for the chase. Sneaky's got to be careful. Shoots left, right, but that's going to put him in range of a pillar. Where does he even go from here? Shenalty coming across. One more hit will do it. He's ticking down, and Doublelift. One dash will kill him. He comes in under the turret and gets that kill picked up.
I mean, there's something just about when everyone was worse at the game that just made the game more fun.
A little bit, but there's a fight breaking out.
Meteos begins. Meteos, Guardian Angel in the front line, taking out of health, and he's going to pop the GA. Svenskeren a bit low, but not low enough. Staying alive, flash that with his life, and Meteos still at the chase. And one more pillar, one more.
I feel like it's like that with most games, to be honest. Like even like NBA basketball, right? Like even basketball. Now the fact that everyone's so good at shooting threes, I feel like it just makes the game kind of cringe in a way.
Doublelift takes him down. Now into the back line. Hanser dodging what he can, but Impact is certainly scary. Flash for the chase. A snipe from Sneaky. And now Bjergsen getting chain CC. The pool is on cooldown. A few more hits will do it. The house comes down. And a shutdown is in.
Doublelift is super low.
Very, very low. One more clock tower. Goes in.
And now you wonder if C9's going to try and section these guys off. They're a supportless team. They do have the advantage.
And Weaver falls still up. They can completely cut them off. Here comes the play. Meteos' Guardian Angel finds the front line. The knockback comes in. Doublelift gets the ulti in. Here comes the battle. Smoothie has to kite back. Sven's going to lose his Guardian Angel as well. And here comes the revive from Meteos. He's going to go down. Bjergsen down to half. Here comes the battle back as Sven's going to lose his life. Both junglers now dead. 4v3, but Smoothie's injured. They've got to be careful. Doublelift to clean it up. There comes the damage up, but Smoothie's going to go down. Hanser staying alive. It's up to Impact.
Bro, Impact was just doing work in this series. God damn.
It's a hero to Bjergsen, and he's going to use the Zonias. Now what's left for him? Jensen gets him. It's an ace for Cloud9. Impact is a god in this. It gets him.
Bro, look at how fucking short the Talia rocks used to be.
It's an ace for Cloud9! Impact is a god in this series!
It's hard to overstate just how much innate tension rests in this particular game. If Cloud9 manages to snatch back the momentum in this series, it feels like TSM's breakneck pace is going to finally land them in a state of exhaustion they can no longer recover from. The longer the series go, the more the cracks will start to show, and C9 as the underdog are refusing to relent. They are in the driver's seat in this game now, and even though it's no sure thing if we were to play a fifth game, the pendulum feels like it's swinging away from TSM. Come 40 minutes into this game, and Cloud9 seem to have found the opening they need to earn the right to play one final game. After the supports trade out a pinpoint Weaver's Wall out of Jensen.
Yeah, this was really good. Don't look at what Jensen does in this fight because it ruins the moment. But I remember like when I was watching this live, it felt like Bjergsen was just, I mean, obviously Bjergsen had just carried like games on Casio. Like he was just a beast, right? He was just a beast on the Casio. He's winning like counterpick lane, whatever. And then he actually felt super unkillable. Like it was like, oh man, Bjergsen's gonna end up carrying this game.
40 minutes into this game, and Cloud9 seem to have found the opening.
Not even Bjergsen's gonna end up carrying this game. If they have any chance, it's gonna be about Bjergsen's Vlad carrying this game.
They need to earn the right to play one final game. After the supports trade out, a pinpoint Weaver's Wall out of Jensen divides up TSM, and the unthinkable happens. Bjergsen gets sectioned off and taken down, and the rest of TSM.
Yeah, as soon as Bjergsen died, I was like, holy f, it's over.
Them are left walking away with not even a full health bar combined between the three of them. The fight isn't over, but it doesn't seem like there's anything left to play for here. Doublelift has not even a quarter of his health left, and TSM have a damage on a front line that any missteps are not just going to end this team fight, they're going to end the game. So in a split second, Doublelift makes a decision that's going to change his career forever. One that will alter the fabric of history indefinitely.
Dashing into the victor. Just kidding.
He decides to fight.
No Guardian Angel for Meteos, whereas TSM still have two. In Weaver's Wall! Weaver's Wall catches up a couple. Now can they have the follow-up damage? A couple of stuns come in. They've got Bjergsen, and they shut him down with a 1600 damage crit. Double flow. Meteos and a...
Wait, look at the flash.
Banaka trades his life, but it's down. Gets the GA. Double killing them all. Kills
Damn.
Banaka trades his...
This is actually really sick.
1600 damage crit.
Because I remember like Lucian Culling had been nerfed, and it felt like Lucian Culling literally just didn't do damage back then. Like compared to what it used to do, like Lucian Culling used to one-shot you.
Meteos and Banaka trades his life, but it's down. Gets the GA. Double killing them all. Kills everybody. They've got three. Impact goes down. An ace for TSM.
Doublelift turns around the fight, staying alive. So much patience, bides his time, and he takes over.
TSM cement themselves as the most dominant organization. TSM
bides
themselves as...
Wait, they didn't win the game here? Oh, I thought they ended the game there.
Cement themselves as the most dominant organization in North American League of Legends and win their 4th North American Championship.
Bro, this was so hype. It's actually making me kind of sad to watch how hype League of Legends used to be in North America, and now League is like completely dead. Like you know what I was talking to Casual yesterday, and we were looking at the Twitch directory during like prime time NA. It's like in my break in between scrims, and it was like 4 p.m. and this used to be like the time where like the biggest North American streamer on Twitch would have like 30k viewers, right? Like the middle of the day, and the highest viewed streamer I think was Velia with like 4.2 or something like this. That was the highest viewed like English speaking streamer that was live at that time. Like, it's just completely dead in North America, bro. It's so sad.
In a flash, the world around this play crystallizes, and while he doesn't know it yet, not only has Doublelift successfully led his team to a championship, he's just inducted the greatest player in LCS history into the Pantheon, becoming the first ever player to win an LCS trophy on 2 different teams and enshrining TSM as the greatest team in North America.
But more than that, this very well could be the best team in LCS history, at least at this moment.
Hyped about, bro. It used to be easier to get out of group stage than it is to get out of Swiss now, and we have players like Doublelift never got out of group stage. We have players like Masa who got out of group stage and looked competitive in quarterfinals. It doesn't have to do with like them being players to be hyped about. It's just like no one's popular anymore.
They may not have had the longest reign, but they arguably had the highest peak. The manner in which they won their games, the force and speed at which they beat teams looked at times world-beating, and despite having to shake off a few blows from their ever-present rivals Cloud9, they finished their almost perfect regular season with only a single loss en route to the hardware and the #1 seed at that year's World Championship. But the story does not end there, because the only thing more compelling than the greatest player in LCS history making its greatest play is that same player's most infamous one. We'll see you in part 2.
Oh! Bro, I really like the way they do their videos. Esports Garage. Bro, I love these types of videos. Just like the...
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Just the filmography or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just so fucking high quality here. I love it. Like a great video. I feel sad watching, like, what happened to, you know, a game I've been a part of. Also, I didn't play ads because we watched that whole video, so I guess I'll play the ads now.